Hi, my name is Gerard Otto, and welcome to Is That a Credible Claim? How do we show it? How do we prove it? This week's claim that we're going to investigate is from the Prime Minister, Christopher Luxon, when he said that the National Party had saved the school lunch program. Consider the following footage.
Well, I'll just say to that member, it's a bit rich because we saved school lunches because that Prime Minister didn't fund school lunches.
Not only did the Prime Minister insinuate that Labour had let this die in a ditch, but the leader of the ACT Party, David Seymour, also suggested that there wasn't a sustainable school lunch program.
Is the Prime Minister also aware that the previous government had left no money in the budget for that nice little circular economy from 2025 onwards, and how has this government responded to that fiscal cliff?
The parties that claim to advocate for those that most need food didn't fund the program.
Is it the view of his government that good words and good wishes must be backed up by a fiscally sustainable plan to actually pay for the government's programs? And does he believe it's credible to have all those good words and good wishes but no plan to afford them?
It is something that we have inherited, a government previously that didn't fund Farmac, a government that didn't fund school lunches.
To make matters worse, Corin Dan on Morning Report on Radio New Zealand on Wednesday morning affirmed the idea that Labour had not funded the school lunch program.
We had a school lunches program that was delivering a good, healthy, fresh meal to kids every day.
Yes, but it wasn't funded.
That's no longer the case.
It wasn't funded. You hadn't put in the $340 million for the final year of that 4 years. And the whole point here David Seymour is making is that he's got trying to build a sustainably funded program, and he acknowledges there are problems, but he's trying to fix them.
Yeah, and both Labour and National, prior to the election, set out as part of our budgets for the election that we were going to continue to fully fund that program. National have backed away from that promise that they made New Zealanders and instead decided to cut the cost. We're now seeing the consequences of that, which is that kids don't get the lunch that they were previously getting.
On March the 6th, 2024, the Spin-Off published an article, Who Gets Free School Lunches? What Are They Eating? And What's the Cost? And in that article, I found the following snippet. In the 2023 budget, Labour committed $323.4 million to fund the program until the end of December 2024. And during the election campaign, leader Chris Hipkins promised to continue funding it beyond this, should Labour be voted back in. It wasn't. And by following the link on that article, I was able to find the original promise from the Labour Party that it would continue funding school lunch programs fully all the way up until the next election.
Today I'm announcing that if re-elected, Labour will extend the free and healthy school lunches program right the way through the next term of Parliament. We know what difference it's been making. It's one of the cost of living measures that we've put in place through the global pandemic and then subsequently that's supporting Kiwi households through a difficult time. Families are saving about $33 per child in terms of the cost of providing lunches for their children, but we also see the wider benefits of that too. We get really good feedback from the schools. Schools and principals and teachers tell us that the kids are focused with their learning, that it's actually been a huge aid to getting kids engaged in their learning. So we want to keep that program going. We know it's delivering results. We also heard today what a difference it's made for those who are providing the free and healthy lunches. It's kept people in employment and it's supported businesses in many cases through what has been a difficult part of the economic cycle. So we want to see that program continuing. We've set aside funding to keep it going at least through into the end of the next term of Parliament. It's a program that I'm really proud of. I put it in place as Minister of Education. I've seen the difference that it's making and I want to make sure that that continues.
So in conclusion, did the National Party save the school lunch program?
Well, I'll just say to that member, it's a bit rich because we saved school lunches because that Prime Minister didn't fund school lunches.
And was it really unsustainable and left to die in a ditch by the Labour Party? Well, I think you can see the answer to that is no. And I think if we want a Prime Minister who's going to be straight up with us, he's got to stop doing this kind of misleading stuff. And the same with David Seymour, where people are actually misled to believe that Labour had let this die in a ditch and that the National Party had saved the program, when that is just not true. That's all from this episode of Is That a Credible Claim? But there'll be plenty more episodes to come.